Hello, my dear friends. Good evening. This is Ralph Oscar C. Vagaboyboy, and you are watching Life Talk with Sir Rob. Today is July 3, 2021. It's a Saturday evening, and it's a very cold evening right here. Kabudiha, kumusta man ang inyong gabi or adlaw? Because some of our viewers are coming from different parts of the world. Ang ato nga Live Talk with Sir Rob ato gina-improve ang atong communication platform aron nga mahimong mas interesting, exciting and refreshing ang ato ang segment nga pagahimuon. In fact, next week we'll have online guests to join us right here on Live Talk with Sir Rob. On Monday, please watch out for an online talk about keeping a steady heart despite negative times. Aduna tay mga bisita, online guest. He's a facilitator and a lecturer and an entrepreneur. My very dear friend who is going to share also his life, his experiences and struggles to us. Para usab nga magiyahan ta sa atong kinabuhi kung unsaon nato pag-confront ang daghan nga mga trials ganiagi nato kamatayon nga nagsunod-sunod diha sa atong pamilya, mga sakit, mga failure sa negosyo o sa uban pa nato nga mga gihimo nga wala nahimong successful at first, and we need to keep a steady heart amidst negative times. So watch out for our Live Talk with Sir Rob for a new segment with someone who is going to share to us his thoughts about keeping steady heart amidst negative times. Then on Wednesday, July 7, 2021, we'll have another online guest coming from Qatar. She's also my friend, an international lecturer in research, a doctor of business administration, and of course, she has been invited to speak to different conferences and seminars about research nationally and internationally. She is going to share her thoughts on having new strength after death of loved one. So pinaagi sa mga nahitabo nga kamatayon sa ilang pamilya, diha siya nakakuha og dugang pa nga challenge o motivation sa kinabuhi nganong naabot pa niya ang daghan pang mga achievements sa iyahang pagkakaroon nga paningkamot despite sa pagkamatay sa usa ka special someone sa iyang kinabuhi. So, Live Talk with Sir Rob is trying to improve any possibilities that we can enhance our ability and our line with you of communication. In fact, naningkamot usab ta nga aduna pud tay mga on-call or mga guest nga mo bat-in sa tuang mga discussion, especially on topics that we are talking right at this point in time. So, happy watching to Kit Tatad. Thank you very much. Also to Nancy Villacrosis Buhawi. To Neil Rampaji, thank you. Of course, to my anak, good evening, Syra Quizon. Good evening, listening from Mahayag. At an early age, she founded her own school, the Shekinah Learning Center of Mahayag Incorporated, of which I was given the opportunity to help as consultant on its first year of founding. So, salamat kay Sai nga gitagan mo ko og opportunity nga makatabang sa imong school. And by God's grace, I am so happy, Sai, that your school is growing so much better with the help of your competent teachers and parents. So if you are living somewhere in the First District of Zamboanga del Sur, I encourage you to enroll your kids at Shekinah Learning Center of Mahayag Incorporated with the expertise and the passion that my anak Syra Quizon Gabriel has been putting into this lifetime investment of education and service. I'm sure your kids are in good hands. And Syra, I could attest to her sincerity, your competence, dedication, and desire to mold your little kids into responsible and God-fearing citizens of the country. So thank you very much, Sai, nga nahimo kang inspiration sa mga young leaders, that you are able to continue such kind of legacy that you need to pass on to one generation to another because of your love for little kids in educating them and in touching their hearts, minds, and soul. And happy watching also to Adrian Ligason. I hope, Adrian, you are enjoying your vacation in Luzon. And I'm also excited to hear from you your experiences. And of course, such wonderful encounter with your father and your brother. Salamat kay sa tanan nga nag-watch karon sa ato ang live talk with Sir Rob. So hopefully daghan patag mga innovation nga atong himuon sa live talk with Sir Rob despite sa busy nga schedule nako, but I'm making myself available for this ministry as a venue for evangelism. Yes, of course, you are dearly loved. Thank you so much, Kuya Bong. No problem, Sai. So, as I've said, enroll your kids at Chicana Learning Center of Mahayag Incorporated. Syra is the school administrator, and right now, the school has been in existence for almost 8 years. So I have been a witness to the success and even to the struggles that Syra Quizon, being the founder together with her husband Aljib, had invested into this kind of venture. Okay, before I give the wrap up of what we talk about the other segment of our Life Talk with Sarah, my dear friends, ako sa nga i-promote ang akong mga latest books. You Power the Future. This is an inspirational guidebook for family growth and citizenship development. You can read from this book all about family commitment, about dedication to your career, how to manage your time, how to continue living abundantly by having a simple life, which I really live up right now. I am living up to this kind of life. And of course, how to continue developing a closer and meaningful relationship with God. So kini nga book, You Power the Future, dako kini siya ikatabang diha sa pagmold og mga citizens sa atong country who are really honest, dedicated, God-fearing, and those with integrity to serve our countrymen and countrywomen in various areas of interest and profession. And of course, this book, Wisdom for All Seasons, this is a compilation of prayers, messages for all occasions, with practical lessons on communication and organizational growth. So I hope you can get a copy of this book because it contains a lot of practical thoughts about how you are going to communicate with friends, with people, what kind of messages are you going to write on, and if ever you are not yet ready to write your own message, speech, or prayer, then you can have this material as your guide and as kind of your source of your educational needs. So, You Power the Future and Wisdom for All Seasons. So you can just message me on Facebook, and we can talk about how are we going to deliver these materials to you kay magamit gid siya sa adlaw-adlaw ninyo nga buluhaton. And I am also contemplating on writing a book, putting all these practical thoughts that I have discussed here in my program Life Talk with Sir Rob together, so that it could be used for our various undertakings and somehow will serve as reminders to all of us as we face our challenges day by day with different kinds of people around us. Okay, my dear friends, just to wrap up what we had discussed the other day, we actually talk about freedom from emotional bondage. It's coming from uh, our friend, um, emotional bandage, tugod kay siya nahigot din nga klase nga kahimtang siyang kinabuhi, tungod kay unsay naa siyang nahuna, mao po na ang nakaharang sa iyang mga desires, sa iyang mga ambitions, sa iyang aspirations, ug dili niya makita ang paglaom o confidence ang kagalingon tungod kay nagbalik-balik lagi hapon kining mga sakit, kining mga kabalaka, kining mga kahadlok nga nasa iyang kasikasing. So take note, my dear friends, when you talk of emotional bandage, it actually draws from what are being contained in our mind. So the mind is a very powerful zone of our imagination, of our intellectual discourse that might affect also our ability to relate our feelings to others, because there are things inside us that we could not control anymore, as we have been confined to the dark past and the wounds that have not been healed right at this point in time. So ato nakita nga puro mga negative patterns ang kanunay nato nga madala sa ato ang kinabuhi, and we lack the confidence, the strength and the enthusiasm to pursue what we wanted to achieve in life, because we always go back to the dark past that we had. That's the tendency, especially katong ng mga traumatic experiences, those who are being harassed physically, emotionally, intellectually, morally, those who underwent several heartbreaking circumstances, and especially katong mga victims of bullying, di ba? Well, personally, I was a victim of bullying during my elementary days, but this kind of experience that I had did not hinder me to become a much better person, and to become a person with brighter perspective and more bright understanding of what God has in store for me along the way. So, despite ka ako nahimo ko nga victim sa bullying in the past, wala ko nahigot niya nga klase nga pagbati, and I did not even take a revenge on those who bullied on me, because I just wanted to remain silent and humble in the corner. There was a time nga muhilak na lang ko tungod kay gibuli ko sa ako ang mga classmates, pero wala to siya nahimo na ako nga reason nga dili ko magpadayon sa akong desire o mga pangandoy sa kinabuhi. So, if you were a victim of bullying in the past, I challenge you, my dear friends, don't take any negative attack against those who bullied on you. Instead, you have to pray for them that God will touch their hearts, will change their minds, and somehow brighten up their perspective. And most importantly, they can hear the words of God. Kay once gani ang usa ka tawo makadungog sa pulong sa Ginoo ug i-convict siya sa iyang dili maayong gibuhat by the Holy Spirit, then that's the breakthrough in the personal growth and awareness of a person. So I'd like to wrap up with the 7 steps to break the cycle of emotional bandage. First is we have to make peace with your past. You have to give yourself time to heal. You have to do. You should not be concerned with what others think of you. You have to be responsible for your own happiness. Do not compare yourself to others. Stop thinking negative and be grateful. Mao lang gini siya ang mga 7 ka mga butang nga makatabang nato sa pagputol aning gitawag emotional bandage. Being imprisoned by negative emotions, that these negative emotions hinder us to see a much brighter side of life in the future. And we always return to the past because perhaps we have not forgotten the wounds, we have not forgiven someone, or we still have this intention to fight back the people who who did wrong to us uh, in the yesteryears. Okay, now this time I'm going to treat the letter of concern coming from our friend in Katbalugan City, Samar, and this is his letter. Dear Sir Rob, happy greetings to your inspirational virtual program, Life Talk with Sir Rob. Thank you for allowing us, your avid followers, to share our views and testimonies about what we are undergoing in our life right now. Nalipay kayo ko nga ako mapaabot ako kaugalingong sugilanon sa kinabuhi. Sa tinud lang, hangtod karon walay undang ang ako pagkabot sa akong mga pangandoy. Halos ako gibati nga wala jud siguro ko maayong kapalaran ani nga kinabuhi. Sa akong mga tiguha nga makabaton og maayong nga kinabuhi, kanunay man lang ko balibaran sa mga tao, laglagon sa mga maayong higayon, o ginatalikdan sa mga higala nga ako giisip nga tinuod unta makatabang kanako. Daghan ko gi-apply nga mga trabaho, apan wala ko'y masudlan og maayong nga posisyon. Igo lang ako kita para pagkaon sa pamilya. Maglisod pa gani ko og buhi sa akong kaugalingon. Sir Rob, ngano man nga mao kini ang klase nga kinabuhi nga akong nahiaguman karon? Dako ba ko og sala sa Ginoo? Mao ba kini akong kapalaran hangtod sa hangtod to be rejected by friends and other people? How could I win in life after confronting multiple rejections? I need your response, Sir Rob, for my concern. Thank you so much and more power. Nagpasalamat, Minard of Katbalogan City, Samar. Hello, Minard. Good evening. Thank you very much for your letter. Alam mo, Minard, hindi ka nag-iisa. To tell you honestly, I had 177 rejections in my life. Dili sayon kung i-disregard ka, or people just ignore you for what you are doing to them. Daghan kay kong mga pamaagi nga gibuhat sa una, Minard, nga ang akong mga proposal ma-replyan, makakuha ko kliyente before I became a consultant. And I have been in this industry of consultancy work for 21 years. Pero lisod kayo pag-establish ang imong name as a consultant at first. Kay primero imo pang i-prove ang imong competence, ang imong integrity, ang imong track record. Especially kung bago pa ka ni graduate o college, walay salig ang mga tao sa imuha. So eventually, dili ka paminawon, kapila ko nagsigi revise ako ang proposal. Sa kadaghan ng mga proposal nga halos ang tanan nga mga companies o mga government offices ako nang ginapadalaan because I wanted to provide trainings, to conduct seminars, ani nga mga klase nga topic. Kana bang imo bitawng gi butang na tanan sa attachment ang kinsa imo padalaan to make sure that when you are going to send the file, everybody will be there, will be received by so many institutions. And suddenly, nag-brown out, mahagba ka. Grabe ni mong paningkamot, pila ka oras ni mo ito gi-attach, dahil ba-brown out ra di ay. Mga tao, dili mo hatag ni mong time, kay dili pa ka ilado, especially you are a fresh graduate. There was a time I put up my own company to help different local government units in the country to produce their own historical background. Nga ako ra nga mahimuan o comprehensive local historical research work ang mga munisipyo, ang mga syudad, ug akong gilibot ang tibok Pilipinas. I hired my staff, taong mo guide nimo just because you were not popular. But I kept on building up my image. I kept on building up my image several times. That 177 rejections that I got means 177 rejected times. Siguro ang uban ana sa tua dili na ta mo padayon. May gani ka Minard kay nag-apply kag trabaho, nakadawat dayon ka sa imuhang posisyon nga gihatag sa kumpanya, pero dili lagi siya mao ang imong gi-expect nga posisyon. Well, as much as possible, Minard, you have to be considerate also of the situation. Naagay mga higayon nga dili pa nato kwaon ang ato nga gi-desire nga klase nga trabaho just because it is not yet time for us to be landed there. Gimold pa ta sa Ginoo sa daghan nga mga higayon. Sa ako pod nga part, grabe kayo ang pagmold sa Ginoo sa kuha because it took me 177 times being national nga conference. Akong gitapad ang ako ang libro dito sa mga collection of books. And I could see from the very eyes of mine that the one who displayed those books suddenly threw out my own. Kay wala sila kaila ana nga writer. Sakit kay para sa kuha nga naningkamot ko sa pagsulat aron lang nga maka-inspire ko because I thank God that somebody inspired me to write a book because she saw in me the gift of wisdom from the Lord. Ngoto nga na-inspire ko nga magsulat og libro when I was working as Dean of La Salle University and I attended a worship service in our church. A member, di ko makalingot ni Ate Glenda Luod Baroga. Thank you so much, te. Kay ikaw yun ang nag-push na ako to start writing my book. That was 2007. Nagsulat kong libro, nagpadayon kong sulat og libro. Ang uban dili pa gyud maminaw, dili pa gyud mobasa sa imong libro tungod kay dili ka ilado. Siyempre, kinsa manggug ka kung itapad na kaining mga sikat nga mga writers. So, I had a lot of different rejections in my life. I had a lot of painful ways that got me rejected. Grabe kayo ang ako nga mga kasilatian sa una. Pila na lang kakumpanya ang ako ang gihimo, 5 ka kumpanya, tukod eskwelahan, ako yung mga partners, nagtukod ko og consultancy company na nag-focus sa training and management services. Then nagtukod ko og research and development company. Kaduha, apan walay interesado nga mokuha sa akong mga projects. Then, in my desire to serve the country, I was thinking that I would be appointed for a government position in Malacañang Palace. Akong gipadala ang ako ang mga sulat. Daghang mga recommendations, credentials, and then I prayed for it. Maybe because I thought I was sincere of my intention to serve the country. Kay kato nga position was under commissioner man siya. Daghan kay ko og mga gipanguna-huna nga gusto na kong buhaton kung makuha to na ko nga posisyon. Pero one day I received a letter from the office of the Deputy Executive Secretary informing me that the position was given to someone else. Medyo nahagba ang akong kalibutan atong panahon na. Daghan kay kong mga attempts, daghan kay kong gihimo, nga ma-achieve nako. Daghan kay mo saway sa kuha, daghan kay mo criticize sa kuha. Some people did not believe in me. I know, Minard, you felt also that. People did not believe in you. That's what you are thinking about. People did not care about you. Pero dili ko moingon nga ang nahitabo nimo karon bayan kini sa imong sala sa Ginoo. Well, every one of us is sinful. So, kitang tanan, muatubang gayod sa pagbayad sa atong sala nga nabuhat diha sa Ginoo. Pero dili nato himuon nga consequence ni siya. Perhaps, kung ang uban mingon nga gaba ra na siya sa Rob, nagabaan na siya, mao na nga wala gid siya kakita og maayong trabaho. Kay grabe man kay siya manghilabot, grabe siya ka chismoso, grabe siya ka libakiro, grabe siya ka traidor, grabe ka palaaway. Hitachi, himantayon, tabian, chismusa. Diba? Kanang nga klase nga mga kinaiya, usahay mingon tag magabaan ra na sila. Pero wala ta nasayod kung unsa ang klase nga gibuhat sa Ginoo aron lamang nga mahulma ang atong pagkatao into a more humble, responsible, and sensitive being. Kato imong question bitaw, Minard, nga mao na lang ba kini ang klase sa kinabuhi nga kung atubangon sa hangtod ug sa hangtod? Nga i-reject ko sa akong friends ug other people? I'm going to give you some important insights and wisdom, Minard. Aron pod nga makita nimo nga rejection is not really personal about you. Dahil daghan nga mga butang nga atong tan-awon nganong gi-reject ka. Kung atong tan-awon sa area sa courtship, daghan na kag gipanguyaban pero nganong dili man successful ang imong relationship. Kung sa business, daghan kag gisudlan nga mga pakulo, mga racket, halos tanan na lang nga klase nga negosyo na ananimo daltan ngano man gihapon nga karon publiko. Sometimes we look at ourselves and ask, Lord, did I do something wrong to you? Ngano man nga wala man ako na tuman ang akong mga pagpaningkamot, ang akong mga pangandoy sa kinabuhi. So I'm going to share to you, Minard, and to our friends watching. Of course, hello. Happy watching to Pamela Rose Yamuta Kayuna. Thank you very much, Pam. Of course, to my dearest cousin, Lloyd Sanchez. Nakakita gini si Jingjing sa akong kinabuhi. Ang akong mga struggles. Ang akong mga aspirations. Katong going back sa ako ang gitinguha unta nga mosulod sa government service. Tungod ato nga experience nako nga dili maayo ang pagtratar sa ako ang appointment na ay mga dili maayo nahitabo along the way. Nag-close ang akong mind nga dili nako mo serve sa government. Ari ko sa private sector. So wala jud ko naka-serve o government. Najud ko sa private sector up to this point in time. 21 years ko as consultant sa mga nakalaing mga companies through Ralph Oscar C. Bagaboy Inspirational Ventures. 17 years ko nga nasa academe. Nag-start ko as preschool teacher. Then nahimo kong elementary, high school. Then nahimo ko nga school administrator, dean. Nahimo ko nga school president and chairman of the board of trustees. Then, hinay-hinay, gi-level up ko sa Ginoo nga ma-involve ko diha sa mga lectureship. Nag-lecture ko. Daghan ang mag-invite na ako, mag-lecture here and abroad. Na-involve ko mga international nga mga engagements. At first, I thought I would not be able to reach this. Pero wala gyud didako ang akong ulo despite sa unsa ang niabot nako karon. Tungod kay nagtuo ko nga gihulaman ra ni sa tanan sa Ginoo. Pwede rin ni kuwaon sa kuha kung dili na ko atimanon. Kung mahimo ko nga garbuso, kung mahimo ko mapahitason, pwede ni kuhaon sa Ginoo anytime. Daghan bitaw kitang mga kaigsuuna nato nga maayo ang ilang kinabuhi sa una. Naa nila ang maay negosyo, naa nila ang tanang mga butang nga material. Pero nga naman nga naglisod sila sa ulahi. Tungod kay wala nila giatiman og maayo unsa ang gibilin sa Ginoo sa ilaha nga kahigayunan. Nakalimot sila sa Ginoo, na busy na sila sa negosyo. The more noon ka nga na busy ka sa daghang mga butang, the more unta pud ka nga dili makalimot sa Ginoo. You should not set aside what is something that belongs to the kingdom of God. Let our business be our way to get into the business of the Lord. Not to make our being busy as an excuse that we don't have time for God. Happy watching also to my dear friend, Meros Lilagan Quezon. Thank you very much. She's a regional supervisor of the Commission on Higher Education in Region 3. Yeah, thank you very much, May, for watching. To Kuya Roger Impalmado. To Ate Lina Puvadura Undag, salamat kayo sa pag-watch sa ato Live Talk with Sir Rob. So, suddenly, God leveled up my life. God accelerated my life from being in a downhill to being at the uphill. Despite these 177 rejections in my life, it's not easy to be rejected. I experienced being insulted by a lot of people. I experienced being laughed at by friends, by classmates. I experienced being criticized and, disregarded by others. But these experiences that I had somehow did not stop me from making myself a much better, stronger, and brighter person. So this is my challenge to you, Minard. You may have been rejected by a lot of people. You may have been rejected by so many opportunities in life. You may have been ignored by those people you believe could really love you, could really care for you. Unfortunately, they betrayed you. Naagi mga tao sa atong kauban sa trabaho nga mulaglag yun nato. Labi na kung sila mga igitero, mga tao nga dili ganahan nga malabuan, mga tao nga ang ila lamang credit way gusto nilang madungog, bisan mismo wala sila gibuhat sa ilang kinabuhi. You know, Minard, ang mga tao nga magsigi o paghilabot sa ilang isikataw, mausap kining mga tao nga walay maayong agi nga ilang mahimo sa ilang kinabuhi. Maubitaw na nga ang bunga nga daghan kaayo nga makita nimo sa kahoy, pero may gina siyang batuon. Kay nasuya man ang mga tao nga nagtan-aw, kadaghan ba og bunga ining kahuya? Og ikaw, gamay ra ang bunga or wala ka mismo na munga sa imong kinabuhi. Mao na ang kinaiya sa mga tao nga mo reject sa imuha. People who actually reject others do not see the value in themselves. And they do not even help people to succeed in life because they are afraid that they might be undertaken or overtaken by the intelligence, potentials, and capacity of other people. Daghan kay kog nagian nga mga superior officers or mga boss nako sa trabaho nga dili ganahan nga malabuan sila. O sa panahon nga malabwad sila sa capacity sa iyang empleyado, himuan na kag istorya, himuan na yung kag dili maayo nga mga comments so that you will be demoralized and eventually reject yourself to be included in that particular organization or company. But I tell you, a person who has been rejected several times has a lot more of strength and determination to be bolder, more effective, and infectious individual along the way. Infectious in the sense that the hardships, the struggles that he had undergone throughout the life somehow molded us or molded that person to energize the spirit in him or her even more. Mao na nga ayaw tanawa imong kaugalingon, Minard, nga ubos kay ka tungod kay gi-reject ka sa daghang mga tao. Rejection just allows other people who reject you that they are losing a treasure to keep. Ang mga tao nga nag-reject sa tua nawad-an og importante nga bahandi sa ilang kinabuhi nga dapat unta nila hatagan og impagtagad o importansya kay makatabang kinig maayo diha sa ilang kompanya, sa ilang organization o sa uban pa nilang institution nga asa sila nabilong. So, I'm now giving you, Minard, the insights and wisdom on how does rejection win our life. How are we going to deal with rejection in a healthy way? First is we have to understand why rejection hurts us so much. Kailangan mo, Minard, na maunawaan kung bakit ang tindi ng sakit ang nasa puso mo when you were being rejected by a particular opportunity or individual. Because that particular recollection of the hurt and pain that you went through would lift you up, would magnify your spirit, that I should not stay in this corner and I have to move on and prove that I could be somebody, that I could win over these odds in life. Dapat na maunawaan mong mabuti na may matinding epekto ang pagiging rejected mo o ang pag-reject ng mga tao sa iyo. Otherwise, you will not understand and know where to base yourself on the process of bringing you to the top. You need to have a base, and your way of understanding the pains and the hurts resulting from rejection would give you a base so that you will have a ladder to reach the top. You have to know the cause of the rejection. You have to feel the rejection. You have to internalize the hurt of being rejected. In my case, when I was rejected by a particular offer or by a person, I really felt it so badly. I cried for it so that I could get a lot of strength, enthusiasm, and stamina on where I should start my life all over again. When I say starting life all over again, it doesn't mean that the pains resulting from rejection go back to zero. No, it does not go back to zero. You are already creating a gain out of your investment. Rejection is an investment because without rejection, you cannot teach yourself to stand up. Without rejection, you cannot see that there are hidden strengths and potentials in you that you have to bring out to the open. Second, take a step back. You have to practice some self-care. Rejection does not teach you to be insecure. Rejection should not allow you to be demoralized. But you have to consider also attending to yourself. Maybe you rejected because hindi mo na naalagaan yung sarili mo. Baka yung mukha mo haggard na talaga. Or hindi ka na naliligo. People maybe reject you because you lose your confidence. You lose the dignity of yourself by the way you dress, by the way you groom yourself. And because people look at you this way, they easily reject you based on how they look at you. So when people look at you that way, and they start to reject you, then bring yourself up and start improving yourself. Siguro ang atong personality dili attractive, dili bagay nga ibutang ana nga trabaho. Siguro sobra ra kayo ta kabayok mo. Mao na nga dili ta dawaton or i-recognize sa ubang tao. Third, take some time to process your emotions. Feel, as I've said, you have to feel, you have to trace the experiences that caused you so much pain. Especially kung grabe kayo ang imong pagpaningkamot sa imong gihimo, pero wala gihapon gi-value sa tao nga gusto nimong i-prove that you can do something good to him or her. Then process your emotions. Ihilak. Batia og maayo ang kasakit nga ikaw gi-reject sa ubang tao. But please, don't make a revenge on people who cause you so much pain. I-process lang imong emotion. So the way you process your emotion should be objective and consequential. Tanaw di mo unsa ang mga step by step nga nahitabo, mga kasinatian nga maoy nagdala sa imuha nga mo grabe ang kasakit nga imo gidala sa imong kasing-kasing. Otherwise, if you could not process your emotions, then you cannot also identify where you are now at a moment. Asa nakakaron? Kung ikaw mismo wala nakaila kung unsa ang hinungdan sa mga sakit nga imong gidala sa imong kasing-kasing, dili ka masayod o makahibalo kung asa na pud kakaron nga status o kondisyon sa imong kinabuhi. Then fourth, practice self-affirmation. You have to affirm. You have to confirm that you're rejected. People did not like you. People were not attracted to your product or to your proposal tungod kay dili maayo ang imong mga gi-prepare. Dili maayo ang imong presentation. Dili maayo ang imong gipakita sa ilaha. Mao na usahay nga dili ka mahimong successful pod sa imong gibuhat sa ilaha. You have to affirm. You have to admit the reality that I was rejected. Kay kung dili ni mo na siya dawaton sa imong kagalingon nga gi-reject ka sa uban, dili man ka maningkamot nga imong ipamatuod ngadto nila nga mas ma-improve pa nako o mapakita nako the next time around that I am improving and that I am making myself a better person. Happy watching to si G. Balasabas, tulay si Quizon de la Peña, to my Mareng Pasita Lourdes Mendez Dayanan, to Kuya Andrew Undag de la Torre, thank you very much for watching. Napay uban nato diri nga nag-watch, thank you kayo sa inyong time nga gihatag sa kuha. I'm so inspired. Mao ni nga ako gyung gilantaw nga nagatay mga innovation nga buhaton sa atong live talk with Sir Rob aron nga mahimo pagid siya nga productive, refreshing, and life-changing nga interaction nato virtually. Then, number 5, you have to spend time with the people you love. Every time you feel rejected or you are being rejected by others, always remember that there are still people who love and care for you. Hunahunaa nga wala ka ng inusara nini nga kalibutan. You know, grabe kayo ang pain nga akong gidala when I faced those 177 rejections in my life. Naningkamot ko nga makatukod ko kumpanya, nagasto kumpanya, nabaligya ang yuta sa kong parents sa Tagum City, a portion of our land there, para lang mabayaran ang mga utang nga gisweldo po namo sa akong empleyado when I put up my own company. Pero ang akong parents, salamat sa Ginoo, wala gid sila nasuko sa kuha. Because they believe that it was a process for me to see a much better way to success. Wala ko gi-blame sa akong parents. Wala ko gikasabaan nga nabaligya ang yuta dito. Kung dili ila lang gilantaw nga parto aron ma-mold ko nga ako pagyon nga tarungon ang dalan padulungon sa kalapusan. So, always remember the people who love you. Spend time with them. Duula sila. Hug them. Kiss them. Let them feel that you love them. And you have to internalize that hugging, that kissing, and that handshaking, and that wonderful experience that you have with the people who really love you. Imo na siya nga bation gyud. Because that will be part of your self-affirmation that despite the fact that you have been rejected by a lot of people in your environment, these people remain for me to love and care for. Diba? Dili ta dapat nga magunahuna nga ginag-inusara ta nini nga kinabuhi. Most importantly, that there is God. Wala ta pasagdi sa Ginoo kay hangtod karon buhi pa ta. That should be the most important reflection and realization that we have to carry out every day. That God has not forgotten us and He is always there to provide our needs. Usahay, maglisod kita sa atong kinabuhi tungod kay unahon man nato atong mga wants. Dili na ta usahay magpalit sa mga mas importante pang mga butang. Sa among pamilya, bisan pag-unsa na ang mga achievements and successes nga among naabot sa kinabuhi, wala mi gitudluan nga usbo namo ang mindset sa amo ang pag-spend og kwarta. Bisan pa og dato na ka, niasinso na kasi imong negosyo, usahay kita magud nga mga ginikanan, natay mindset or attitude nga kung madato na ta, niasinso na ta sa atong negosyo, muasinso po ang atong alawas kay hatag sa atong anak. Pero kami, wala mi tudloy ana sa akong mga parents. And I'm very much grateful to them for giving me such wonderful and noble value system. Nga bisan pa og unsa na ang among naabot karon sa among kinabuhi, we still have a simple life. Kung hatagan ko sa akong parents sa una og let's say 10 pesos or 50 pesos, karon nga niabot ko ini nga stage sa kinabuhi, that's how we still spend the money. That's how much my parents give me. Wala gyud na usab. Kita manggod maglisod ta sa atong kinabuhi tungod kay when we are having a high standard of life, we also increase our standard of giving the resources or spending the money for the people in the family. Well, dili po nato ma-blame ang uban kay gusto po nila nga maka-experience ilang mga anak og hamugaway nga kinabuhi. Pero para sa mua, I'm just sharing our family experience. Mao gyud ang akong gitubuan karon. Mao na nga kung na ako'y paliton, di ko magproblema kay atog ko pinakabarato. Dili ko maglisod. Kay naanad mi nga ang akong parents kung unsa ang mas praktikal, unsa ang mas barato, as long nga ang imong gipalit dili makadaot or lain tan-awon, hunahunahon gyud namo nga ang needs gyud ang makahatag og maintenance for a more complete life and a life that has been sustained by joy, contentment, and peace. So always think about them. Kung ikaw gibati nga gitamay ka, gidawdaog ka, gikalimtan ka sa imong mga friends, always think of the people who love you. And you have to spend time with them. Kay aron nga, samtang buhi pa sila, mas feel nimo baayo unsa kanindot di ay nga sila makabati nga ikaw nagpasalamat silang kinabuhi o sila usab nalipay kay ikaw wala nakalimot sa pagpasalamat o paghatag og atensyon sa ilang pagkasila. So, there are 4 types of rejection. Yes, thank you very much. My dear student at Atlas University, Queenie Hamlag Alojado, thank you for watching. To Sister Grace Mascarina Semblante Nombrera, thank you very much, Sister Grace. Amen. Very informative topic. Thank you, Sir Ralph Oscar Bagaboyboy. God bless. Kana siya nga mga comments, makatabang kay na siya sustain ini atong ministry para sa Ginoo. Kay nagtuo ko nga daghan pa kayong mga kaigsunan nato karon nga gustong maminaw ang mga words of encouragement, wisdom. Kaya atong kalibutan karon puro na lang mga fake news ato madungog, puro na lang mga pagpasikat sa kaugalingon. Pero nalimtan natong atiman ang atong kalag. Nalimtan natong atiman ang ato ang pagkatao. Di ba? So, nagpasalamat ko sa Ginoo for using me in this particular ministry. Nga maka-reach out ko sa inyo mga friends. Makahatag ko og mga pangunahuna nga gikan sa Ginoo. Aron usab nga makahatag ta og maayong kinabuhi, malamdagan ang atong mga kasing-kasing o makasabot kita unsa di ay ang tinuod nga maayong plano o katuyuan sa Ginoo alang kanato. Okay, before we end up this motivational talk, my dear friends, and Minard, our letter sender, allow me to share to you the 4 types of rejection para po nga matibang-timbang ninyo, ma-identify ninyo, ma-classify ninyo, ma-discern ninyo kung unsa nga klase di ay kini nga rejection experience ang inyong karon giatubang. First is the unspoken rejection, kana bang being ignored. Daghang kay tag mga nagian bitaw mga friends nga nakay gibuhat imong teacher, imong gisabitan sa imong report, pero wala lang. Walay thank you, walay reaction ang imong teacher. And you never know if she is happy with your report. Tungod kay ignored lang ka. That's unspoken rejection. Dili nimo makita nga gisulti sa tao, pero gi-reject na ka. Kay wala siya nagtagad sa imuha. Then, the second type of rejection is the flat-out no rejection. Being uncared for. Wala ka gi-care. Wala ka gihatagag time niya. Naa kay tuyo sa opisina, nagpaabot kag pila ka oras dito, and yet wala gid siya nag-dare o check nimo sa gawas kung naunsa na ka. Hangtod na lang nga nahuman ang meeting nga iyang giapilan. Daghan kay kong mga tao nga na-meet ana nga they are so insensitive to us. Labi na ng mga mga managers, uban mga supervisors, ang uban mga superintendents na pwede lang sa uban nga very generous and sensitive pod ani nga kahimtang. Mga empleyado sa gobyerno kumana ka sa opisina, dugay kaayo sila mutagad nato. Di ba? Naiuban diha nga mga boss kaayo magtabi sila dito sa bisita, dili mabalaka or maiko galay nagpaabot dito sa gawas. And yet you are uncared for by these people, and that is already a flat out no rejection. Wala ka gi-reject, pero pinaagi pa lang daan sa imong nakita, gi-reject na kanila. Mayon dayon na siya, pabalik ka lang, mayon ang sekretary, sir, balik lang ka sir, sunod adlaw, balik lang ka ining adlaw, balik lang ka karon. Pero wala gyud kanya gitagad. That's already a flat out no rejection. Then the third type of rejection is we regret to inform you, or the nicely worded no rejection. Hindot ka pakasulti. We regret to inform you nga dili pa namo ni mahatag karon. Trying to be polite para dili ka ma-offend, dili ka masakitan nga gi-reject ka, gi-disregard ka sa tao. Ingnon ka nga mas maayo siguro sir nga mobalik na lang ka sunod tuig diri, or kung naapay maayong o higayon tawagan lang ka namo ana ba, usa na siya kapaagi nga dili ikay ka masakitan tungod kay very polite, very kind, very courteous kayo ang pamaagi sa pagbalibad sa imo. And lastly, the no with suggestions for improvement rejection. Kanang try this instead. Kanang inom ka nga, ma'am, sir, or dong, day. Asa kay baayo og mo imula sa ning i-comply ni siya nga mga requirements. Asa kay baayo kung imo sa ning himuon ning mga report kay kulang pa ang imuhang gi-submit sa kuha. Dili pa ni siya madawat namo. So, gihatagan ka og mga suggestion para nga pwede pa nimo ma-improve ang imong gibuhat. That is it, the no with suggestions for improvement rejection. So, let us remember, my dear friends, that most of the time, rejection is not personal. Ma-rejecta tungod kay gilantaw nila sa atoa ang atong linihukan, ang atong behavior. Basin ang imong malagi itong iyon ako ganina, maybe your personality is not really that attractive to your friends or to the people around you. Okay, yes, CM Judy Serba, di ko po maunawaan ang salita. Pwede ba pure English or Taglish? Yeah, I'm trying to put all the languages together because some of our listeners are Visayan and they could not understand this kind of language. So I hope CM, I could also elaborate some points here that are really understandable to all of us. Okay, so our behavior also turns off others. Yung ating kilos, yung ating galaw, tinitingnan niya ng tao. Kung ikaw ba ay isang karapat-dapat para sa ganitong trabaho, sa ganitong posisyon, tinitingnan yan. Especially when you are seeking for a managerial or leadership position. People really look for your personality. Someone who is strong, someone who is competent, someone who is full of confidence, somebody who can really lead. By looking at the body language of that person, we know that such person can be our good leader. Then, when we fail to meet others' expectations, syempre, yung ibang mga tao may mga hangarin niya na gusto nilang abutin or makuha galing sa atin. Ano ba itong taong ito? Pwede ba siya? Magaling ba ito sa ganitong trabaho? Ano ka ba? Do you write messages excellently, both orally and in written form? So people look at you that way. There are a lot of expectations that people have in their mind on you. So when these expectations are not being met, you are eventually rejected by others. So do not consider rejection as personal most of the time. It is based on your behavior, on others' expectations, and lastly, on your inability to respond to rejection. Yung iba sa atin, they do not know how to deal with rejection. When they are rejected so many times, they feel and think that this is going to be my game over. This is going to be my last. I should not pursue anymore with this desire or ambition. It seems that this is not for me. So, we are being bombarded with so much negative thoughts and ideas that somehow do not open our doors to opportunities in a sense that we don't have such kind of ability. We don't have the ability to bounce back rejection. But, I salute to people who, despite the financial crisis, the bankruptcy in business, the failures in their marriage, or the losses in whatever endeavors they are into, but still remain to be steady, gentle, positive thinking, and persistent to obtain their goals and interests. Hindi ito naging hadlang sa kanila upang baliwalain na lang nila kung ano yung mga pagsisikap nila sa buhay. We need to respond to rejection by being positive thinking and having faith in God that our rejection makes us a much better person because God wanted us to see rejection as a way to make us involved in a much brighter, greater, and wider plan of God for each one of us. Ako, 177 rejections na ang naabot ko sa buhay. Kahit sabihin pa ng ibang tao na, ito si Sir Rob, meron na namang ibang business na pinapasukan. Hindi na naman yan magtatagumpay, mag-fail naman yan. It is normal, my dear friends, that there are people who are waiting to see your failures. There are people in the community or in the world right now who just await you to be stumbled. But don't look at them. Don't think of them. Think of yourself. Think of the people who love and care for you. Hindi ka nag-iisa. And in the eyes of God, you are never rejected because your rejection is your way to prove to the world that I could be better, I could do much better, and I could be the best the way I wanted it to be. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Minard, sa sulat mo na ipinapadala sa atin ngayon. Happy watching to Ma'am Aurora Castillo, to my student Ronel Jimenez Bangubat, to Gerald Yuson, Ate Gigi, thank you very much. Of course, to my very good friend, Ma'am Grace Bernat, thank you very much for watching. Daghan ta diring mga friends nga atong nakita. Sorry kayo, wala na ako na check. But yes, Ma'am Aida Morales, thank you very much for watching. Salamat kayo sa inyong pagsunod sa atong program Life Talk with Sir Rob. And as I've said earlier, please watch out for my interaction with our guest on Monday. It's about keeping steady heart amidst negative times. Our guest is a lecturer, a facilitator, and an entrepreneur. That will be on Monday, July 5, 2021. And he's coming from the Philippines, of course. And then our next guest on July 7, 2021, we'll be talking about the new strength after death of loved one. Is an international lecturer in research, a professor in Qatar, my friend Dr. Anna Bukar. So, my dear friends, thank you very much for taking time to be with me on this program, Live Talk with Sir Rob. And I hope I could start putting this practical thoughts and wisdom on a book together para magamit na ni Nato. And you get a copy of this book soon so that you will be reminded of the relevant points and techniques in life so we can be a much better, responsible, committed, and God-fearing person. This is Rob Oscar C. Bagaboyboy. You are watching Life Talk with Sir Rob. This is part of Rob Oscar C. Bagaboyboy Inspirational Ventures. 21 years of inspiring lives leading to brighter tomorrow. Thank you very much. And to those who have not started this program, you can have a replay as I'm going to send to our Facebook groups the replay of this program, Live Talk with Sir Rob. God bless you and have a wonderful and blessed Saturday evening, everyone.